YouTube, what's going on? What's going on? YouTube, what's going on? Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? Um, what's going on? But yeah, as y'all can see, the title of this video is called "How to Use a Calculator on Your Truck." Yeah, yep. 844, did you get that Bitcoin? Exclamation thoughts. Why you trying to provoke me and get me started on a rant? You know I don't believe in buying Bitcoin. How to use a calculator in life, I know. But in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to use a calculator. Um, if y'all interested in entering into the drawing, I got a drawing. I'm gonna give away some free investment books. Um, I'm gonna probably do the drawing Saturday or Sunday. So if you're interested in winning some investment books, stay tuned. If you go back 2 videos in my catalog, I got a video. I'm giving away investments, three investment books for the holiday season. Um, you know what I talk about in my videos. I'm always talking about common sense, real world stuff in my videos. That's what I be talking about. Trying to help guys have a proper plan, have a proper plan, you know, in this business. Everybody talk about a whole lot of stuff in this business. Guys talk about a whole lot of stuff in this business, but they don't really talk about the end goal. They don't talk about having an end goal in this business. Everybody talk about getting a truck. Everybody talk about getting their own authority. Everybody talk about making X amount of dollars and all that stuff, but they don't talk about the end goal. They don't talk about the real stuff. You know, unless you're a descendant of the royal family, you born in royal blood, you a descendant, you offspring of the Trump family, you a descendant of Rockefellers or some rich, wealthy family. Okay, you got to use common sense. Use a calculator. Okay, every move you make, you need to use a calculator. Every move. I'm talking about everything. All the way down to buying a loaf of bread, you need to be using a calculator. Okay? That's just what it is. Oh, if any of you guys are trying to get your own authority and you're trying to find a factoring company, give Triumph Business Capital a call and tell them I sent you. Tell them 44 sent you. Triumph Business Capital, the best factoring company in trucking. The best. They the best out here. They the best. Okay? They will get you your money same day. If you can upload your bills in the Raycon by 1 o'clock Eastern time, your money, will be available same day. Okay, so call Triumph Business Capital. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But anyway, get back to this video. What Triumph charge? They charge me 2.5%. That's what they charge me. They charge me 2.5% on my factoring. 2.5%. You don't have to factor all your loads. So, I know some guys, they deal with some factoring companies. They have to factor all their loads. No, you don't. Even some brokers be trying to tell me what my factoring agreement is. I'm like, how you gonna tell me what my factoring agreement is? So you got to read your paperwork, read your factoring contract, and that's what it is. And so I don't factor all my loads, so I use them. I use my factoring company about 50% of the time because you don't need to factor all loads. So it's just business. It is what it is. So proper business management and stuff like that. So I know some guys, they don't use the factoring company. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I know why. You know why? They don't use a calculator. That's why. They don't use a calculator on their truck. You got a lot of guys running down the road that don't use a calculator on that truck. For the life of me, I don't understand why guys don't use a calculator. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, aren't we in the business? Aren't we in business to make money? Let me ask y'all that question. Aren't we in business to make money? Right? Trucking is a penny business. We you know, we track our expenses on a per mile basis. Okay? We track our expenses on a per mile basis. And guys out here don't know how to use a calculator. Okay? You calling up brokers and stuff like that, and you running down the road on your truck, and you don't know what your truck doing. I know I talk about having spreadsheet. I know I talk about having a spreadsheet on your truck, but you don't have to get it so sophisticated as having a spreadsheet. I mean, having a spreadsheet is better. To me, is better because after 5 or 10 years of running your truck, that's a lot of notebooks stacking up. That's a lot of notebooks stacking up. And so putting the stuff in a professional tracking medium, it makes sense to put it in a spreadsheet. It ain't a one-time deal. If you in a business and you jumping in the trucking, and you, you held your hand up and you made a commitment to this business. You went and bought a truck and a trailer, and you went and committed to this business. So it makes sense to commit all the way. That means doing doing practicing proper managerial practices for your truck. That's proper managerial processes for your truck. And one of those processes is using a calculator for your truck. Okay, so okay, for example, um, for example, rate per mile. Some guys, they think they getting two, three, four, $5 a mile is a good rate. And I'm here to tell you, if you use a calculator, none of that stuff matters. Like guys be like, man, I got $5 a mile on that load. Man, the load paid $300 to go 20 miles down the road, man. So any fool could see that, okay, $300 divided by 20 miles, that's $15 a mile. Man, I got $15 a mile on that load. Man, I can tell you don't know how to use a calculator, because if you pick up the calculator and you do a um, couple calculations, you be like, okay, my house bills, you start putting the numbers in the calculator. Okay, my house bills is this much. Truck insurance is this much. Maintenance is this much. Retirement is this much. Equipment replacement cost is this much. And you like, man, it costs me $250, anywhere from $200 to $300 a day, just to sit in your truck, and you running a $300 load. You just breaking even. You just breaking even because you don't know how to use a calculator. You don't know how to use a doggone calculator. We talking about elementary school arithmetic. We ain't talking about calculus, man. We ain't talking about trigonometry, man. We ain't talking about physics. Come on, man. We talking about third, fourth, fifth grade arithmetic, adding and subtracting, man. Multiplying and dividing, man. You know? Um, um, another number, guys don't know how to calculate is cost per mile. Cost per mile. You gotta learn how to use a calculator. You gotta learn how to figure out cost per mile. How much does it cost you per mile to go down the road to run that truck? And you got some guys, they solely look at cost per mile and they look at rate per mile, and since they're getting $15-$20 a mile on a load that goes 20 miles, they think they killing it. They killing it, man. Their truck paid for, they got to pay for a truck, and they killing it. They make $300 a day. You ain't make no money, man. Even with a pay for a truck, that ain't no money. You know it ain't no money. You trying to fool yourself because you're not using a calculator. The truth is in the pudding. You use the calculator, and black and white don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Dean Cole says, women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. That's what Dean Cole says. Numbers don't lie, man. You gotta use a calculator. That's just what it is. So, cost per mile. How do you calculate cost per mile? I mean, if you a new guy to this business and you don't have no numbers to go by, I'm sure a lot of you guys been running long enough to know how many miles in a week that you can run. So you get, most bills in America are paid on a monthly basis. So you can find out how many miles you plan on running for the month. Okay, you take that number and divide it by your cost. That'll give you your cost per mile. Okay, it's just easy calculations, man. Okay, say your insurance is $1,000 a month. Say your truck payment is $1,200 a month. Your trailer payment is $500 a month. You got miscellaneous expenses on the truck. You know, you got an ELD, you got your plates and stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw an extra $200 a month for miscellaneous expenses. You know, ELD, plates, and administrative, if the and all that good stuff. Right, an extra 200 a month. So your fixed expenses is somewhere around $2,900 for the month. Okay, so you get that number and you divide it by how many miles you planning on running. A typical guy out here running up and down the road, you probably gonna run about 2,000 to $2,500, 2,500 miles a week. That's typically what a typical guy out here is gonna run. Okay, 2,000 to 2,500 miles a week. That's typically what I run. If you run 5, 6 days, you know, closer to 2,500. You know, you're not killing yourself. You know, it's about 400 miles a day. You know, for anywhere from about 400, 350 to about 500 miles a day. That's, you know, you ain't killing it. It ain't backbreaking. You ain't, you know, it's so. So let's do. I'm gonna split it in the middle. I'm gonna do 2,300 miles a week times 4. You running 9,200 miles a month average. Somewhere in between 9,200 miles a month. Okay. So you get that 2,900, divide that by 9,200 miles, and what number you get. Y'all can follow me in this video. Get your calculators out. I'm gonna show y'all how to use a calculator on your truck. Okay, that pretty much comes out to 32 cents a mile. It's 32 cents. That's your cost. That's your fixed expenses. Now we ain't factoring fuel because fuel is a variable. What's a variable? Well, a variable is a line item in a business that fluctuates depending on how you run your truck. But your fixed expenses is going to be about 30, based on these calculations, is 32, about 31, 30, it's 31.5 cent a mile. Let's say 32 cent a mile, roundabout. That's fixed expenses. So you can write that on the paper. Fixed expenses is 32 cent a mile. Write that at the top of the page. You know, because the reason why I'm talking about this subject, a subject that is so basic, to me it's a basic subject, because, I get emails from guys, and guys be asking me questions, and I'll be like, man, how do you calculate cost per mile? What kind of rate should I be getting on a load? What's a good fuel mileage my truck should be getting? All this stuff out here is relative. Everything is relative. Okay? And so you need to learn, you guys need to learn how to get these numbers and calculate them for yourself, so you can understand, okay, where you stand, where you at. Okay? Say you go into a dealership to buy a truck, and you look at the truck, and you get the ECM report off the truck, And this truck right here shows the lifetime fuel mileage average. The lifetime average on fuel mileage on this truck is 7.89 miles to the gallon. Then you look at another truck, then the lifetime fuel mileage on the next truck is 6.5 miles to the gallon. See, a guy that been using a calculator would understand the differences between those two trucks. If you do those calculations, you would know that's 1% a mile is a good $8,000-9,000 a year. I wouldn't buy that truck that's getting 6.5 miles to the gallon. I would get that truck that's a lifetime average of 7.89 miles to the gallon, because basically you talking about $8,000-10,000 in fuel savings and getting that truck. See how I did that real quick? See how I did that real quick? Because one whole mile per gallon on your truck is equal to almost about 800 a month, 800-900 a month in fuel. See what I'm saying? Y'all gotta learn how to use a calculator. This is money we talking about. I'm serious. If you gonna take this business serious, you gotta know how to use a damn calculator, or you're gonna go broke. That's just what it is. That's what I'm saying. I be bumping into guys and they have no idea. The numbers will tell you what to do. The numbers gonna tell you what to fuel up at. The numbers gonna tell you what kind of truck you should buy. The numbers will tell you what kind of freight to pull, where to pull the freight, what brokers to deal with, what brokers not to deal with, where to buy your tires, where not to buy your tires at, when to go home, when not to go home. By the numbers, using the calculator. The calculator tell you what to do. That's what a proper businessman does. He runs his truck like a business. This ain't no hobby. Now, if this is a hobby for you and none of this stuff don't make no sense, then turn the video off and continue to run your truck like you've been running it, throwing money out the window. You don't even know if your truck profitable or not. You don't know if you need to sell your truck or not. You don't know if your truck burning too much fuel or not. You might be driving down the road with a bad injector and not knowing it because you're not tracking your fuel. You be sitting up with a bad injector. If you see all of a sudden your fuel goes up and you've been running the same way, you ain't changed nothing in your running style, but all of a sudden your fuel purchase going up. Fuel prices are the same and everything, but your fuel consumption, your injector is just dumping fuel into the engine. You got a bad injector. And so I know a lot of guys, they be lazy. I'm lazy too. I know it's a lot of work. However, just keeping a basic notebook on what your truck is doing it's just keeping a checkup on what your truck is doing, what your finances on your truck is doing. That's it, man. It ain't that complicated, And so I got on a little rant. My bad. I got on a little rant. But so what I did, cost per mile. I got to get back to what I was talking about. What I said, cost per mile, rate per mile, and I think I was going to talk about fuel costs, because you got a variable, you know, because I think I was talking about variables, like variable expenses. Okay, so you got variable expenses of things like fuel. Fuel is a big expense for a truck, and so fuel fluctuates all the time, and so you know you need to know what's going on. And so I know I get a fuel discount. I save at least anywhere from $400 to $500 a month in fuel, in my fuel costs. Okay, that's a nice piece of change, man. That's that's about six, 7,000, about $6,500 a year in savings just by having a fuel discount on my fuel card. I don't know about you, but 6 grand is a lot of money. I'm just saying. You can put that 6 grand in retirement. I mean, 6 grand will fund your whole Roth IRA for the year, because the contribution limits for a Roth IRA is 6,000 for a year. So just by getting a fuel discount, you save 6 grand a year, and you can just put that 6 grand in a doggone Roth IRA instead of giving it to Pilot and their executives, giving it to Loves and their executives, giving it to TA and the executives. This is a penny business. I'm just saying. We gotta learn how to use a calculator. These numbers and calculations are basic elementary school 4th, 5th grade arithmetic, man. And like, the numbers will tell you what to do. You know, I don't look at no deadhead, because guys be worrying about deadhead. Like, dude, when you talking about gross revenue that the rate is paying, gross revenue that the load is paying, deadhead don't mean nothing. It don't. If I'm gonna make additional $300-400 to deadhead to get a load, what are we talking about? That deadhead, the extra $300-400 that I'm making to go deadhead, paid for me to go deadhead. How did I know that? Because I use a calculator. Ta-da! Use a calculator. And like, guys set these restrictions in their truck that don't even make no damn sense. Guys set a lot of restrictions on themselves, and they shoot themselves in the foot because you leaving money on the doggone table. I try to find the best paying load out here. I try to find the best load that yields the most profit that I can. Why? You want to know why? Because that profit goes into my retirement account. It goes into real estate. It goes into other things. We're here to make money. Aren't we here to make money? Or is this a hobby? Is this a hobby? We do this for fun. We do this because it feel good. We come out here and run up and down the road to have a good time. No, we don't come out here to feel good. We're businessmen. If you're watching my videos, you're a businessman. We're businessmen. Businessmen are managers, are business managers, okay? And they run a truck like a proper business manager. They keep track of their expenses. They use calculators. They read the numbers and let the numbers tell the businessman what is the next move in their business operation. That's what proper businessmen do. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, the Walton family, all the big business moguls out here use the numbers to tell them what next move they need to make. How do you know, okay, which mutual fund to buy? You got this mutual fund, you got this stock over here, you got this rental property over here. How do you know which one to buy? Numbers. It's all about numbers. You get the numbers and you say, okay, so this mutual fund right here is paying. This mutual fund over here is paying 10%. It's got a 10% rate of return over the last 20 years. 10% rate of return last 20 years. That one right there. This one over here is paying 11% rate of return for the last 20 years. Which one should I invest my money in? I think I'll go with the one that's paying 11% rate of return. Ta-da! I mean, it ain't about the name brand, because you got a lot of people. They're brand loyalty. They're brand loyal. They're brand loyal to Freightliner. They brand loyal to Nike. They brand loyal to Jordan. They brand loyal to Dodge Chargers. They brand loyal to Vanguard. They brand loyal to Schwab. They brand loyal to Fidelity. They brand loyal to Applebee's. No. It ain't about the brand name. It ain't. Some people brand loyal to Pepsi. Some people brand loyal to Coca-Cola. It don't matter. It don't matter. Whichever one costs less is the cheapest one to operate, and which one allows me to get what I need out of it for the least amount of money. That's just what it is. You do some calculations real quick. That's how you use a calculator. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for, man. But I don't want to go too much on a rant, but that's kind of like my argument and my philosophy on going by the numbers. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, how can you come out here with a truck? You trying to make money. Your whole basis of coming out here to get a truck with a truck is to make money. And you're not even tracking the money that you're making to know if you even making money. Even if you losing money, at least you did the calculations to know that you losing money. But you guys out here have no idea what they're doing. They don't know where their money going. They don't have no. They're just lost. They just running the truck and just paying bills. Running the truck, paying bills. Running the truck, go on a vacation, pay bills. 30 years later, they don't have nothing to show for it because they ain't been tracking nothing. They don't have a budget. They don't have no goals. They don't have a plan. Just zombies, so to speak. But let me see what y'all talking about. Estimation thoughts. What you talking about? CFI seemed like a decent starter. CFI. CFI. What y'all talking about, man? Because of you, I got my CDL and started CFI on the 30th. CFI? Is that a trucking company? I ain't know CFI was still around. I didn't even know CFI was still around. Let me see. CFI. Oh, yeah, they still around. I think XPO own them. I think. Yeah, I think. Hit the like button. Yeah, man, hit that like button, man. Hit it. So you really back in the truck? I never left the truck. I never left the truck, man. Y'all ain't talking about nothing in here. But anyway, so um CFI, I don't know anything about CFI, but um Sharon Thompson, let me tell you how I you probably didn't ask, but I'm making the video. So Sharon said they got them Kenworth with CFI. Okay. It's a lot of companies got Kenworths. But let me tell you what I look for in a trucking company. I know you didn't ask, but I'm making the video. So I need content. I'm making content. I'm a content creator. So I make videos. So let me tell you what I look for in a trucking company. The first thing I look for is I like to see a trucking company that have a terminal. I done talked about this before about how to pick a trucking company if you're a company driver. I like when I'm looking at a trucking company as a company driver, even if I'm leased on, because your priority when you come home, when you're a company driver or leased on, your priority is having somewhere to park that truck. If you live in a metropolitan area, Atlanta or something like that, parking is hard. Parking is very difficult, and you're gonna need to find a company that's got a terminal in your hometown. When when you come on home time and you getting ready to go home, um, you got somewhere to park the truck. You got a reliable, stable place to park the truck. I don't need you to go and get with no trucking company that they don't even have a terminal where you live at, and you got to park your truck on the side of the street somewhere, and you got to worry about somebody towing the truck, stealing the truck, throwing rocks at the truck, whatever the case may be. You don't need that pressure. And on top of that, it saves a ton of time. It saves a ton of time. And let me explain to you how does it save time. Okay, if you go with a company that doesn't have a terminal in your home area, it's two things you're gonna have to deal with. When a company doesn't have a terminal in your home area, it's more than likely it's gonna be difficult for that company to get you home, because typically when a company invests into a terminal close to your house, that's communicating to you that that company has a business. They have business in the area. So that means you're going to be running through the house more often. They have a good, stable portfolio of business in your area. And so you have greater chances of getting home. So when you tell your fleet manager your home schedule, say, hey, I want to get home every 5 days, every 6 days. And if they don't have a terminal in your hometown, it's not 100%, But more than likely, it's going to be difficult for them to guarantee you a certain date. Say you got to get home for birthdays. Say you got to get home for emergency. As an over-the-road driver, you sound like you just got your CDL, so you don't have no kind of, you don't have no power. You don't have no. So they're gonna treat you like they're gonna treat you any old way. So that's just the game. So you just a pawn on the chessboard when you're new until you get some years of experience under your belt. And so um that's something I like to look for in a trucking company. Another thing you have to worry about is getting your truck service. Every 2-3 months, you're gonna have to get your truck service. If that company doesn't have a terminal where you live at, well, you're gonna have to use the time that you normally would be running and making money. They're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. They're gonna have to okay you to go to a off-site shop, and you got that's time you got to waste on your. That's your time to be running. You got to take that truck and drop it off somewhere so they can do a PM or get work done on the truck. That's not a good idea, because when I come out, when I leave my house to go to work, I'm ready to go to work. I'm not trying to be sitting a day or two when I'm supposed to be running, making money, waiting on them to fix their doggone truck. So when a company has a terminal and a shop in your area where you live at, when you come on your home time, you can tell your fleet manager, hey, your fleet manager can be like, hey, my truck needs a PM. You can just go to the shop, put your truck in the shop for a PM, and while you on your home time, they could be doing the PM, putting tires on the truck, oil changes and stuff like that. So when you take your 2, 3, 4 days of home time, you come back, your truck fresh, ready to go. It got new tires on it. It's got a new oil change. They clean it. They wash the truck up for you. They shine it up and do all that stuff. You ready to go. As soon as you come in, your manager send your load to your Qualcomm. Boom, you out here making money. See that those little gems like that, man, they help. They help. Okay? They help. There's a few other things that I like to look for in a company driver company, but that's a big one. And of course, you know, healthcare, 401k, blah blah blah. The type of trucks that they have in their fleet is like the last thing I worry about. I don't care what kind of trucks they got in their fleet. Most big mega companies you drive for are gonna have good equipment. Most companies gonna have Freightliners, Internationals, you know, um, Internationals and Kenworths in their fleet. That's the average. It ain't. You're not paying for the trucks. You don't own the trucks. I mean, the trucks. It don't matter. Long as the truck run is comfortable, and you can run the truck and make money. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. It ain't about what type of truck they are. All these trucks run the same. They all pull freight. You know, you want to be worried about the stuff that matters. The stuff that's going to inconvenience you is, you know, whether that company has facilities where you live at. That's going to dictate how you get home, when you get home, how much money you're going to make. Because if a company is based out in the West Coast and you live on the East Coast, why the hell are you applying to a company where all their customers is on the West Coast and you live on the East Coast? You ain't gonna never get home. That's stupid. That's stupid. You need to look in your area, go out maybe like a 50-mile radius and search for all the companies that's in a 50-mile radius and go from there. That's where I would start. I don't know who pointed you in the direction of CFI. I'm not saying they're a bad company, but you know, Um, that's kind of like where I like to start, so to speak. Um, Sharon said they have a terminal 3 hours away. I live in Asheville, and they have one in Georgia. See what I'm saying? They have a terminal 3 hours away. So that means every time you come home from home time, you either gonna take the truck home, which I never recommend. I never recommend taking company owned equipment to your house, because when you take that truck to your house, that truck is your responsibility now. Somebody can steal it, break into it, a neighbor could back into your truck or whatever. Now your fleet manager and your the company executives gonna have to the company executives gonna be getting up your ass. Safety is gonna be getting in your ass about what's going on with that truck. And so I never condone guys taking their truck home, company owned equipment. I never condone that. You as a truck driver who makes 50,000 a year, 60 grand a year and shit, that's the last thing you need to be worrying about is company owned equipment. I don't want that responsibility. Park the truck at the terminal, dog. Do that. Do that. I've been in this business 13 years, dog. I've been in this business 13 years, and I've had some incidents happen while bringing my truck home. You can do what you want to do, but you have to go through the process yourself. I'm telling you from experienced guy, you don't want that. That stuff go on your DAC report. You don't want that. Stuff that don't have nothing to do with you goes on your DAC report. Okay? You don't want that. A tree fall on the truck. Have nothing to do with you. Goes on your DAC report. You think they won't put it on there? They will put it on there. Some kids down the street throwing rocks. Break a window on the truck. Goes on your DAC report. Yep. Leave the truck at the terminal. And so you're saying the closest terminal is 3 hours away. That's too damn far. Every time you come home, you're going to have to drive 3 hours before you get to the house. That's too long, dog. When you come on home time, I want my house to be about 20 minutes away. You tired, you've been running all week, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how long you been running, you get off the road, you don't want to be driving no 3 hours to get to the house, man. That's too long. That's too doggone long. I say find another trucking company. Find a company that's a little closer. That's what I say. Find a company a little closer. You will appreciate all that besides them having Kenworths. you know, that stuff don't matter. Just a few gems. The next thing I'll worry about is pay. That's the next thing I'll worry about. What they pay like. And the next thing after that would be what their home time schedule requirements are. Because every company's got different home time schedules. Every company out here got different home time schedules. Some companies require you to be out 6-7 days before you get 1 day home. 1 day of home time. So that means you gotta run 28 days before you get 3 days of home time. I wouldn't run for a company like that. That's too much of running for just 3 days of home time. I like to run for companies. If I'm out, I like to run for companies where I'm out 11 to 14 days and I get about 3 days at home. That's a good pace for me. I can run 11, 12, 13 days. I can get home that Friday, take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back out that next Monday. That's how I like to run as a company driver. That's a good schedule right there. Sometimes I'll bump it up to like 21 days or so. But running 11 to 14 days, that's a good sweet spot right there. That's giving you, as an over the road truck driver, that's giving you good home time, good money at the same time without exhausting yourself. I'm just telling you, after 13 years, I'm telling you, being out on the road for months at a time don't make you more money. It don't. If you know how to work your hours, if you know how to work your hours and work your fleet manager, they will keep you busy where you making just as much money as the guy who's out 30, 40, 60, 90 days on the road. Okay? More days on the road don't make more money. I'm just telling you. It's a sweet spot you gotta find, and as an over the road driver. So I'm giving you a little bit of gems. You know. Shay Roan said, well, I was thinking about just running my first year, staying out there to stack that money so I can be in a position to be an owner operator for 3 years, 2 to 3 years. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you single, don't worry about going home then. So yeah, that's a good plan. At least you got goals, you know. At least you got some goals. That's good, you know. That's good, you know. But some guys got family. Some guys, they got family. They married. They got kids and stuff like that, and you have to find a good balance of home time and making money. So you just got to find that balance. But you're single by the sound of it. Yeah, man, go on out there and run, man. Get it. Go on out there and run, man. You seem like a young guy right now. Man. When you're young, you got your whole career ahead of you. You got all this working years ahead of you. Stack that money, dog. You watching my videos, you invest in some of that money too. Don't forget to put back 10 to 15% in the 401k plan. Don't forget that. Don't sit up there and slave for these companies and don't pay yourself first. You pay yourself first. I mean, take it from me, man. I was your age once, and you gonna wake up like I'm bumping up against 40, and like you gonna wake up, you gonna be 50 years old. Like, oh, 50. You're gonna be an old man. You're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna be like, damn, time just flew by, man. And so you gotta always just constantly reevaluating your goals and making sure you got good goals, and making sure you consistent with your goals. Because if you get lazy, get complacent, you'll just sit up there and run up and down the road in the truck and don't have no goals, and you don't have no business about yourself. You just sit up there and have nothing going on, and then you sit up there, be 55 years old and don't have nothing to show for it. I'm just saying. I bump into a lot of guys, they proud about their 30, 40 years in trucking. And then when I start asking them, because when I hear a guy that's got 30, 40 years in trucking, I was like, damn, you ought to have 2-3 million in the bank. Nope. I be bumping into guys. I start having these real conversations with them. So I hit them with the real question. Because guys love to boast about how long they've been in trucking. But I hit them with the real question. So I'll be like, so you investing in a 401k, or you got a retirement plan? Oh, nah, man. No, I don't do the retirement stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, good thing you got 30, 40 years in this business. It's just like, that's it. That's it. That's it. It's like, boy, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Shay Roan say they pay 35 cents a mile. 35 cents a mile the first 60 60,000 miles, then 40 cents a mile, and then 1 year at 45 cents a mile, they pay for you to get hazmat and get you a 6 cent raise, detention pay, 16 hours. Okay, that ain't bad for a company driver. They ain't bad. They got some nice incentives in there. Yeah, they ain't bad. Okay. Hopefully they got the freight to back it up. You know, them numbers look good. I mean, as a young guy getting it sounds like you just got your CDL. So that sounds good, man, to be making, after a year, to be making 45 cents a mile your first year. That ain't bad. When I got into trucking, I was making 30 cents a mile. And then I think I got like 31, 32 cents a mile after about a year. I didn't get the 45 cents a mile until like my second or third year in trucking. So it seemed like these companies are paying guys a little bit more. Because when I got into it, 25 to 28 cent a mile was the norm, was the average coming out of truck driving school. And now I'm seeing the average guys coming out of truck driving school making 40 cents a mile out of truck driving school. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, they paying guys a little more. Just hopefully, just the thing is, hopefully they got the freight to back it up. Because all that junk don't matter if you sitting around. All that junk, all that stuff don't matter. If you sitting around waiting on loads, you waiting on, it's always you waiting on something. And so that's another thing I want to tell you about. Since you're watching my videos and I'm hitting you with these gems, don't ever wait on a fleet manager or your company to give you freight. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's just the root, that's just the game of this business. Closed mouths don't get fed. Practice good communication skills with your fleet manager. Make sure you have good communication skills with your fleet manager. That's how you make money in this business as a company driver. So let me give you an example. I don't know if you been driving yet. You sound like you just got your CDL. I'm hitting you with some gems. Okay, for example. So say you got a load and it's delivering on Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the case may be. Say you got a load and it's delivering at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Okay, you need to be ahead. You need to be ahead. You need to be looking ahead for the next load. Don't deliver that load at 8 o'clock. It take 2 hours. It take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to get unloaded. You're going to be running for a big company, so they're going to have a drop. You're going to be doing dropping hooks most of the time. You're running for a big company, they got trailers all over the country. So you're going to be doing dropping hooks. You in and out by the hour, 30 minutes to an hour, dropping hooks. Don't do that load, and then once the load done, you sitting up there waiting. You sitting up there waiting to get a load. Okay, you sitting up there waiting to get a load. The best thing you want to do is communicate with your fleet manager. You tell them what your ETA is to deliver that load. So you got to be there at 8 o'clock. Tell them why you driving the truck. It's like, okay, I got a good ETA. I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock. Tell your fleet manager, okay, I'm going to need a load at 9, 10 o'clock. Once you start running your loads, you can gauge on how much time you need, how much lead time you need for your next load. You always want to be ahead so they can already have you pre-planned on the load. So it just keeps you running. So you're not sitting around wasting time because you got your logbook is running. You can't afford to be sitting around waiting around on loads. That 40 cent a mile stuff don't matter if you sitting around a whole day. Okay? You get paid to drive the truck. Okay? So that's the game when you're getting paid by the mile. Now if you're getting paid by the hour, none of that stuff matters. But when you're getting paid by the mile, you gotta be ahead. You gotta be ahead, you know. I mean, once your fleet manager get comfortable with you, sometimes they have you pre-planned 2 loads ahead. Once they, see how comfortable with you and see how you running and you getting to the places on time, you delivering on time and stuff like that, they're pre-planning you 2 loads ahead, and you just make sure you on time. Make sure you communicating with your manager. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be here at this time. Okay, but make sure you communicate. If you're not communicating, you're not gonna make no money. You're gonna run a load, deliver it. They're not gonna have a load ready for you, and you're gonna sit there 3, 4, 5, 6 hours waiting on the next load. And if that's the case, you may not even get another load till the next day. You just wasted a whole day. You ain't made no money. That's so it's a learning curve, especially if you're somebody who coming from getting paid by the hour and stuff like that. You just used to just coming to work and punching in. But this here, you gotta work a little bit harder. Closed mouths don't get fed. You gotta ask for it. So you deliver that load, call your fleet manager. Call them. Don't ever send a message. Call them. Call them. Always call. You pick up the phone, call them. Hey, I'm at such and such. I'm at the receiver. I'm about to drop this load. I should be empty. I should be empty in like an hour. Okay, they're gonna reach out to the load planner, be looking for you another load. The Qualcomm gonna blow up. Once you drop that trailer, they're gonna have you another load. Sometimes the place that you going to, they might have a load coming out that same place. You go in the office, give them the pickup information, get on that and get on down the road. That's how you make money as a company driver. That's the game. Thank you, 404. You're welcome. Richard said, what do you think about this election? I think Trump is better fit for the country. Man, get off my channel with that Trump mess, man. Get off of here. That's what I said. Hopefully, they got the freight. They pull dry van freight. You go all 48 states. I mean, you're going to be a new guy. I don't know where you live at. You said Asheville. So you probably going to stay east of the Mississippi. Most companies are not going to send guys, even though they do all 48, most companies are not going to send new truck drivers too far. They usually don't do that because there's a learning curve. Like when you start going out west during the winter time, there's a learning curve. You got to know how to put chains on your truck. The weather is different out west, and you got to know how to drive. And decent trucking companies are not going to send you out west. They're going to keep you close to your house. They'll, like, if you live in Asheville, you're probably going to run, you're not going to run too far. You know what I mean? You're not going to be running through crazy weather and stuff like that. Now you're gonna run through some crazy weather, but they a lot of times companies don't send guys with less than a year experience like out west in the Rocky Mountains and stuff like that. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Swift might do it, because I know Swift do all kind of crazy stuff. Swift do what they want to do. But a good company is not gonna send a guy with less than a year experience out west. Yeah, Canada. You may not go to Canada because you got less than a year experience. Um, and if you don't have proper credentials, they may not send you to Canada. You got to have um you got to have your passport. Um, I think they got a new program right now where for truck drivers, you're not required to have your passport. It's only for truck drivers. I forgot what the program is, but if you don't have that, you don't have to worry about it. You ain't going to Canada. They'll put you in a system that they can't send you to Canada because you don't have the proper credentials to go to Canada. Do you recommend Snyder IC over Landstar? It just depends. I think Snyder IC is for somebody who new to who's new to the owner operator game. For guys that are experienced with running as an owner operator, I would suggest them going to Landstar because Landstar is like Snyder. The basic stuff about Snyder and Landstar is kind of the same, but with Landstar, it's more business at Landstar. You know, like Snyder, it's a lot of hand holding. You got that cute little load board over there, and they treat you like a glorified company driver. At Landstar, you are independent contractor, and you running a business, and so you got to send emails. It's more of it's you got to do a little bit more work at Landstar. You running a business. It's like they're kind of the same, but Landstar is like a little bit up there. It's a little bit more work. So it depends on where you are in your trucking career. Like if you're a company driver and you want to get your own truck, and you don't have no experience as an owner operator, I would suggest Snyder IC. If you got experience as an owner operator, I would suggest Landstar. So, you know, yeah, man, you're welcome. That'll get you started right there. You jot that stuff down I just told you, that'll get you started right there. Communication with your fleet manager. That's it. Because a lot of guys don't know how to work this business as an over-the-road truck driver. There's a little game to it. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's just what it is. And it could see the fact that opening up your mouth is a difference of you making 13, 14, 1,500 a week versus making $500 a week. That easy. We talking about doubling your money just by opening up your mouth. Easy, just like that. You see just by opening up your mouth, you better using your time instead of waiting around for them to get you a load. You want to be ahead of each load. Just opening up your mouth and communicating, letting them know what's going on. You know. Yeah, man, what's going on? What are your thoughts on new operator signing up with UPS? Um, Me personally, I think UPS is the best company out here to sign up with as far as the owner operator is concerned. I actually been thinking about leasing on with them. To tell you the truth, um, if you want to build a fleet, if you want to build a fleet, that's a good place to start. To be honest, um, you know, they're the biggest trucking company in the world, and like they got plenty of business. They got plenty of freight. They got so much freight, you make your head spin. And so it's just a fact of like, it depends on how you want to do this business. You know, like with me, I'm independent. I got my own truck and trailer. So I don't have no dedicated customers or nothing like that. But if you just want to lease on and you don't want to get your own authority or something like that, I say UPS is one of the best out there. They got the best contracts out there. They got the best, because a lot of guys don't talk about this. They got the best carrier agreements with their shippers and receivers. And what I mean is, the carrier agreements is that when it comes to like UPS and FedEx and these companies that does truckload, these LTL companies that do truckload, their agreement with these shippers and receivers, they get a lot of respect because their agreement, you don't waste a lot of time at these places. And so when it comes to dry van freight, you waste a lot of fucking time sitting around waiting and shit. That shit is annoying. You waste a lot of time with the bureaucracy of this business, of the shipping receivers. You gotta wait on this. When you leased on a company like UPS, you dropping and hooking. It ain't no live loads. You dropping and hooking. You never, if ever, doing live loads. If you leased on with a company like UPS, you dropping and hooking, you in and out. UPS, companies like UPS got this whole thing figured out. Their agreement with a lot of these places is designed not to hold you up. As a regular over-the-road dry van driver, these companies treat the truckload sector like shit. You go to a place, it takes 5 hours to get you loaded, 5 hours to get you unloaded. You waste all that goddamn time, man. You could have been running, making money. And UPS, they don't play them games. You go to places, you watch. If you don't believe me, go to a place that's got UPS, FedEx trailers on their property. Them UPS and FedEx guys, they be in and out. Because they have an agreement. UPS and FedEx have agreement with a lot of these places. If their truck is there past a lot, if their driver is there past a certain amount of time, they get charged, and they don't want to get charged. I mean, it takes detention to the next level. You can see it when a UPS or FedEx guy delivering some freight to a place, you can see he got to go, man. He bumped that dock. It's like if they don't come and unload him, or they don't sign him in past a certain amount of time, he gone. They don't got time to be sitting around waiting on y'all. And so when you look at that, that's why a lot of leased on guys make good money at UPS, because they got everything figured out. They got everything dialed in. And so when we talk about making money, you talking about UPS, these guys are making 50, 60 cents a mile, loaded or empty. I'm talking about company drivers. I mean, that's a good deal, man. That's a good deal. And if you're a fleet owner, man, it just makes everything it makes everything that much better, man. It makes everything that much better. When you're running a truck operation, efficiency is key. You ain't wasting no time. And when you a business partner with a company like UPS, they've been doing this a long time. They got it figured out. They ain't wasting no time. I be watching these UPS guys. They in and out, man. They in and out. They getting to the money. They in and out. Ain't no bullshit with these guys. And so it'll be nice to get the trucking industry up to that level, but I mean, the most part, man, These shippers and receivers don't care nothing about us. They don't care. But it takes a big company like a UPS or FedEx to come in and say, hey, we not putting up with that bullshit. You know, you're not going to hold our drivers here for 2-3 hours. You know, they got 10-15 minutes to acknowledge a UPS or FedEx driver. If they don't get no acknowledgement, they gone. They gone. We'll get it next time. And they still get charged for the driver coming there wasting their time. I've seen guys stop unloading the truck to go and take care of UPS or FedEx driver. They do it all the time because that's the agreement that they have. You know? So my answer to is signing on with UPS a good idea? Yes. If you got the opportunity, yes, I would do it. All the guys that I know that run UPS, they stay busy, man. They stay busy. They stay busy. It don't slow down at UPS. There's never no slow period. I know a couple guys at UPS. It ain't no slow period at UPS. They got so much freight. And I'm talking about UPS freight truckload, not the packages. UPS freight truckload. You know, UPS pull palletized freight just like all the big trucking companies too. They have a truckload division. You know, so that's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's just a lot of little small things you would appreciate. A lot of little small things a lot of people don't think about, and a lot of things that a lot of people don't talk about. They worry about rate per mile, what kind of trucks they got, and a bunch of other stuff. But the stuff that really matters, the stuff that counts, they don't talk about that. The stuff that I just said, a lot of guys don't talk about that. If any, a lot of guys don't even know that something like that exists. You know? Richard says Snyder is trash. Leased my truck with them for 2 weeks and I was out. I don't know about that, man. I was leased on the Snyder for 2 years. I mean, they not perfect, but they ain't terrible either. You know, I was able to go over there and get a truck. You know, this truck that I'm sitting in, this is Snyder Finance truck. They weren't perfect. You know. That Snyder Choice board allowed me to try out being an owner operator with no strings attached. You know, like I said before, with Landstar requires you a lot of upfront commitment. See, if you go over Landstar, you got to know what the hell you're doing. If you're not sure if you want to stay an owner operator, I wouldn't go over Landstar, because what's going to happen is you're going to go over Landstar. You're going to have to go to a dealer and get your truck. And when you go to a dealer to get a truck, you're signing on the dotted line for an X amount of time. You're borrowing money to buy a truck. You're buying a truck without knowing anything, you're not giving yourself a chance to, I don't want to say walk away, but you're not giving yourself an exit strategy. That's one of the rules of business, is having an exit strategy. And when you're looking at like a exit strategy, and we talking about risk, you got to have an exit strategy in case this thing don't work out. And for first time owner operators, I don't recommend guys running out there to a dealership and go buying a truck. I would wait till your second truck to go to a dealership and go get a truck. But your first truck, no. I would go to a company like a Snyder, KLLM. I would go to Prime or something like that. You, so if you get 6 months in there, 2 months, 3 months, a year, and if you don't like it, no harm, no foul, you walk away. But if you go out there in your first truck, you go to a dealership, you got to put your credit on the line, and you got to put down $5,000 or $10,000 on the truck. That's a lot of risk, dog. What if this thing doesn't work out? What if you just don't like it? What if you just don't like it? And so when we're talking about these companies where you get the truck through the company, you got to know why you doing it. It ain't just, well, I'm doing it and I got a truck and the truck note high. Yeah, but if this thing doesn't work out, you can just turn the truck in, no harm, no foul, and continue what you was doing before. They ain't dinging your credit. You ain't going to court. You ain't doing none of that stuff. And so we got to have a proper conversation on what we doing here. And a lot of guys don't talk about that. They quick to judge. They quick to be like, oh, Snyder this, Swift this, US Express this. All those other companies, Swift, where you can lease a truck, Prime and all that, those are just training companies. Those are companies that's got an owner-operator program, and they train you. So they let you try it out for a while and see if you like it. Then if you run it for about a year or two, you be like, you know what? I like this. I like being an owner-operator. I like running my own truck. I like this. Then you turn around and go get your own truck. Then you go over to an owner-operator owning a company like Mercer. You go over to Landstar or something like that. Or you go to get your own authority. Then you do it. But you don't do it your first year in the business. You don't do it. That's just when we're talking about business, doing market research and trying to get a business plan together for success. If you trying to be successful in this business, you got to do like a trial and error kind of situation. So that way you don't hurt yourself. I really appreciate the route that I went to get my truck, because it allowed me to kind of test the waters, kind of put my feet in a little bit and pull back if I wanted to. I did 1 year leases and 1 year increments. So I got the truck on a 1 year lease, drove the truck for a year, truck ran good. I was like, okay, this truck ran good for a year. They send me an email, re-signed another year. Okay. Meanwhile, while I'm making my truck payments were $700 a week. As I'm making the truck payments, the payments are buying down my balloon payment. When I bought this truck, I only had $30,000 due on it. It wasn't $100,000. It wasn't $150,000. $30,000. As I was paying down that, I was testing the truck out. I was running the truck, testing it out. Okay, this truck running good. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I can see myself owning this truck. I can buy this truck. I felt comfortable putting my hard-earned money down on the table. It's like, you know what? I'll own this truck. This truck mine. And see, guys don't talk about that. They quick to slam, the Snyders. They quick to slam the Swifts and all that. And we're not having the proper conversation. We're not bringing it into proper context. Because I don't know plenty of guys with their first truck, their first owner operator truck, paid cash for it, dropped 40 grand on the truck. By 6 months later, the truck blow up. The truck blow up after 6 months. That same truck at Snyder Finance, no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. You just walk away. In the contract, it says that you get to walk away when it's a mechanical, the truck blow up or something like that, and they exhaust all their resources to help you with that truck. You have the right to walk away. Now, if that was your truck and the engine blow up, you out 40 grand. That's a hell of a risk that you putting up. You know, and you know, when I be telling y'all to read, man, y'all gotta read. You know, this, you know, you just gotta read. Like Dave Ramsey talks about that in his not in his book, but he talks about that in his he got a business owner series. It's called Entree Leadership, and he talks about that when he bought his building. When he bought his office building. So Dave Ramsey, what he did was he did a lease option on the building. Now he could have paid cash and bought the building, but he didn't know how his business was going to turn out. So he did it for about 2 years. The business was successful. He started making money. He started to see what the revenue was like, and he turned around and bought the building. But just say he wasn't successful. Something happened. He had a failure or something in the business. He would have been up Shit's Creek, sitting up there with a $5 million office building. And see, and that's the stuff that guys don't talk about. That's the true stuff guys don't talk about. Which auto insurance companies? Richard says UPS paid $115 on all miles. Dwayne says $115 plus fuel surcharge. Ugh. Yeah, fuel surcharge ranging anywhere from 20 cent to like 40, 50 cents. So that's basically $1.60 a mile or so. It fluctuates. It depends on, you got to go on the Department of Energy website and see what fuel surcharge is paying for that week. And you basically getting $1.60, $1.70 a mile, depending on what the fuel, what the price of fuel is for that particular week. But yeah, UPS is good. Melly Mel, when guys be spouting out this and that about companies, everything is subject to everybody's opinion. Everything is, it ain't absolute. I mean, I've been in this business 13 years, and like, guys always talking shit, man. Like, guys just talk shit. Guys be lying, and they had a bad day. They didn't get no sex the night before. It's a whole lot of things that could sway a guy's opinion on a subject. So I really don't listen to guys. I don't listen to people, period, on certain subjects, because I know their opinion. Most people are not nerds like me, and so I like to go to the source and get the information myself, and like, you know, get an understanding myself. Listening to people, you listen to people all day long, man. Like, people will send you on a wild chase on some bullshit. I mean, really, a lot of people don't even know what the hell they talking about no way. So I go to the source. I go to the source and get the truth myself. I'll call the company up directly. I'll talk to 5 or 10 guys at that company and go to the source and get a good understanding for myself. One guy talking shit don't mean nothing, man. They don't mean nothing. You know, the Snyder IC Choice is one of the best programs out here. Ain't no other company out here gonna let you be able to pick your own loads. That's the biggest. That's the biggest uh, reason to go over to Snyder IC Choice. If you leased onto a company and they not letting you pick your own loads, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Because that's night and day, man. You're responsible for expenses on the truck and you can't even pick your own loads. That's bullshit. But anyway, I got an hour and 30 minutes on here rambling and carrying on. Um, I appreciate y'all watching my videos, man. I'll see y'all next time.